Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Behind the Business. We are featuring the judges of Chalo Let's Cook, getting to know them, getting to know their businesses, and getting to know them better so that they're less intimidating when you have to serve a dish. If you haven't heard of Chalo Let's Cook, I do suggest that you tap onto their Instagram account and check it out. Chalo Let's Cook will be the first halal cooking competition that will be hosted over a multitude of platforms. So this is definitely something you want to get involved with. We are about to chat to Chef Jafar Mia from Pellet and Plate SA. I see he has joined. We're just waiting for him to join the live, inshallah. I've sent an invite from my side. So Jafar Mia is actually somebody that schooled with me in JMS. I remember him vaguely, lost touch after high school. So it will be nice to see what he's been up to. There we go. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sister Razina?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well, thanks. I was just telling viewers that I know Jafar Mia. We schooled together in JMS, and then we lost touch after high school.
Yeah, JMS was a very long time ago. I think like almost 2 decades ago.
So I'm out of matric for 20 years. Yes, it's very long.
But it's nice to get in touch again.
Yes.
And for such a good cause. I mean, it's a very exciting thing that we're doing right here.
Absolutely.
Chalo Let's Cook. I think it's going to be a big thing, inshallah.
I mean, Jafar, how does a JMS boy become a chef? That was not at all.
Exactly. It's quite strange because in our class, we were basically only 3 boys in the class. You know what I mean? So it's been a long journey. I've always been passionate about food from a very young age. Food and liquor.
Jafar, didn't you win a cooking competition in JMS?
Actually, yes, you're right. I think it was in standard 8. We had a competition in our class, the boys
It's
versus the girls.
back. It's all going back to the cooking competition. Yes, please share that story with viewers. JMS cooking competition. Yes.
Yes, boys versus girls. Actually, it was, I think, the one day in class, the girls were teasing the boys that we can't do anything. So we decided we'll challenge them. And we had basically like a cook-off. And I think the principal and 3 teachers were the judges.
Mm-hmm.
And we did like crayfish and steak, chicken, and a whole lot of starters and desserts. The boys ended up winning it, alhamdulillah. I think we got a 500 Rand cash prize or something like that.
That's cool.
So, yeah,
we're gonna take JMS here to take them down memory lane for that, Jafar. So, I mean, at that cooking competition, obviously, being a chef was far away from your idea of where you want to be, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I never ever pictured myself as being a chef or going down a culinary route. I left school, I finished up, I went into my father-in-law's business, working with them for about 17 years. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. And after 17 years, I sort of got the feeling that I needed to do something different. So I left them, and that's when Pellet and Plate started. We started off small, just a home-based catering company.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, initially, we just started doing burger pop-ups. We used to do gourmet burgers, going around and stuff like that. Alhamdulillah, we had a good response to that. And once on holiday with my friends.
Is there somebody else that you with Pellet and Plate? Is there?
You know how many people ask me that question when I say we, and I keep on telling them it's just me alone, but it depends how many personalities I wake up with in the morning. So if I wake up with 2 personalities, with 2 people in the kitchen, if it's 6 personalities, then we're 6 people in the kitchen.
Okay, that's great. But you know, Jafar, I also want to just point you through that. I remember hearing your name when it came to like kunchas and things like that. So was that before or
Yeah,
after
so
the food?
before. That was before Pellet and Plate while I was still with my dad and him. Like I always had a passion for creativity and stuff like that. So I used to like having dinner parties for my friends and like setting up the whole thing. So I used to help people with decor for their weddings. And I used to do kunchas for people's engagements and stuff like that. Remember when we did kunchas, I mean, we did kunchas for people that it went to London, it went to America, it went all over, alhamdulillah. So
Okay,
like I said, the
so
creative side was always there.
it's always there. So Jafar, you said it started off with these little burger pop-ups. When exactly did you decide? A lot of people do pop-ups. A lot of people dabble in chefery and cooking, even restaurants. When is it that you decided this is what I want to do on a professional level?
So it was actually about maybe 7 years ago. I was on holiday with all my friends. It was a boys' trip to Cape Town, and we hired this house in Camps Bay. And like I was doing cooking for the guys over the weekend, and they all told me like it's so good. Why don't you do it professionally? And that's when I actually decided to start with it. And we started with it, and it's been growing slowly. And COVID gave us a bit of a knock, but alhamdulillah, it's starting to pick up again. And
I mean, Jafar, just to mention, you are the first male judge that I am interviewing, and you are the only male Indian judge on the panel. I just think, personally, I don't know, maybe it's just my husband, but Indian men don't really enjoy the kitchen.
Actually, you'd be quite surprised, eh? There are a lot of Indian guys nowadays who are actually getting into it, who are excited about it. My brother is one of them. Every now and then he like to, for the weekend, go and try something. And there's quite a few like that. The older generation, not so much, but the newer generation are getting into it. And I think also it's now because the newer generation, most youngsters choose to move out of their parents' house once they go to university. So they have to start learning to fend for themselves. And also, it's a sunnat about Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to cook. I mean, he did not just come into the house and instruct the wives what to do. I mean, he would take part. I mean, we all know the story of how he used to grind the wheat for the flour and stuff like that. He used to do housework. So it's just, I think, you'd be surprised how people, once you put them in the kitchen, can come up with something exciting. You know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. We spoke about how Pellets and Plates started. Just for viewers who are not familiar with Pellets and Plates, just tell us more about Pellets and Plates and where you guys are now.
Okay, so we're based in Amarensha, and like I said, we're a home-based catering company. We do daily meals. We send out a weekly menu on a Saturday. We do corporate functions. We do small functions as well. There's desserts. We do sweets and stuff like that. And there's lots of things that we're looking to add on to our current range and stuff like that. There's a few collabs we're looking at getting into with a few other people, alhamdulillah. So we just ask for dua.
I'm just going to throw one of the comments that I've read here when talking about collabs. There's a comment that came from photography by Yasira Suji, and she's saying, Jafar, I'd love to offer you a free food photography trial shoot. I've seen her work, Jafar. She's actually really good. I was actually looking forward to working with her myself. So do touch base with her. She's really good. Okay, so on to the collabs.
Yeah, so there's a few. We're looking at going to someone's approached us. They want to do a frozen meal range. So we're looking at getting into that as well. Definitely expanding, going into more bigger functions. Because at the moment we cater to smaller functions, but we're looking to do something a little bit bigger. I had the opportunity for working at a restaurant recently. It was a good experience for me. A cousin of mine, who is also a male, is also a chef. He's also quite a good chef. Alhamdulillah, we were discussing doing something.
It's running in your family. Your mom needs to tell us what she did.
Actually, it does run in our family, but it stems more from my grandmother because I stayed with her for many years, and she always taught us that when you get guests coming to your place, you put the best food on the table, you set the best table, best cutlery, crockery, and everything. And alhamdulillah, it runs from everybody, from especially on my father's side, it runs a lot, and my mom's side as well. Whatever I know how to cook, my mom taught me.
So more from the mom than the school.
Oh yes, definitely, definitely.
I love that you mentioned that, because our judge panel is very mixed. There's professional chefs, and of course there's people who learned through this exact way, and it's definitely something from a chef's point of view where you can say, I learned it from my mother more than my school. It's something that shows our when it comes to Indian cooking and all of that, Jafar, that can be really intimidating though, because I feel, okay, you're the only Indian chef on our judging panel, which means your palate is now spoiled by the Indian cuisine. You have that, and you have your chef's degree. And alhamdulillah, pellets and plates are doing quite well on social media as well. It can become extremely intimidating for somebody who wants to now hand over this humble meal to you, and you're going to crit it. It can be so scary. What can you share that'll make it a little bit easier? Give some tips on how to get a 10 out of 10 from Chef Jafar Mia.
Okay, so I don't think anyone should feel intimidated, because at the end of the day, everyone cooks. I mean, I can tell you from my own experience, you can be making something today and cook the exact same tomorrow, and both days taste slightly different. You know what I mean? Definitely plating is something that you
Especially if you don't follow a recipe like me, then it will never taste.
Even like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've made biryani many, many times. And almost every time you use the same recipe, you know exactly the measurements, but it's just different because it's your mood that you have for that day, your passion for that day. It all comes out in your food. Food is something that, although you're cooking it with your hands, your emotion plays a very big part in it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If your mood is good, your food tastes amazing. You know what I mean? So when I look at things, it's basically plating is important, because obviously we see and we want to eat what we see. It looks appetizing, you know what I mean? But more important for me is just the
Every
things.
single chef has said we eat with our eyes first. It's something we getting all
Yeah,
the time.
exactly. So, I mean, obviously, it's the thing that attracts you. I mean, if you go to a buffet, something that looks good is going to. But the thing is, if something looks good, but when you taste it, it doesn't hit the spot, it's a total letdown. So for me, the thing is, it would be more for the taste, you know what I mean? As long as it tastes good and it makes me feel good and I can feel that you've put your passion into it, alhamdulillah, you know what I mean? And like I say, I cook every single day for people, and every single day I start with Durood Sharif and Bismillah, and I'm like, Allah, please let me not mess this food up today for somebody.
We open the oven and we say Bismillah before we put that cake inside the oven. That's
exactly. You know what I mean?
That's totally for sure. Jafar, we spoke about what would be ways of getting a 10 out of 10, but let's talk on the flip side. Is there anything in the culinary space that you feel would obviously put you off a certain meal? Is there something that would be like a red flag or a disappointment to you?
Okay, so personally, because I don't like methi at all. So if anything has methi in it and I get that smell, it just puts me off. But I mean, I wouldn't hold it against the person, because I mean, if the rest of the elements on the meal taste good, you know what I mean? I can't critique them. It's just a personal thing that I don't like.
Okay.
But like I said, the guys that are going to be auditioning initially, the only advice I can tell them is the dish they're going to bring, it must be the thing that they are well known for. Like, for example, if someone has invited you somewhere and you ask them, what can I bring? If they tell you, bring your brownies are amazing. That's the thing that you're known for.
Yeah.
Whatever you are 100% confident in, I can do this well, initially bring that through. And then later on in the competition, you can experiment and do stuff.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Jafar, is there any final parting words that you would like to leave us with before we cut the call?
Um, Best of luck to everybody. Alhamdulillah, this is such a good initiative. I have to tell Maulana Ashraf, thank you so much, and Jazakallah for him and Farzana for including me in this initiative. When he called to tell me about it, and he's telling me about it, and he's like, "I want you to be a judge," and I'm saying yes on the phone. Yes, okay, gee, this is so exciting, but inside my mind is telling me, "What the hell are you signing up for? Do you know what a big thing this is going to be?" And, but then afterwards I realize it's
From your
good to get
side as well, right?
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Razina.
I said, so there's nerves from your side as well.
Yes, look, I mean, it's the first time we're doing it. There's nerves from the judges' side, there's nerves from the contestant side, the organizers. Inshallah, we all just hope it's going to go extremely well. And we hope it's not the first and the last. Inshallah, it keeps on growing and stuff like that because, like the thing is, we have so much to showcase from a South African Indian point of view. Because if you think of South African Indian food, our daily menus are not only curries. Like people can't think that we only eat curry every day. I mean, we eat pasta, we eat noodles, we eat Chinese food, we eat sushi. It's South African Indian palate is very varied.
Yes.
So I mean, we have so much.
We even put a halal spin on the Gigi Hadid pasta. We're doing a lot.
Exactly, you know what I mean? And the thing is, like, there have been so many times where we've catered for a corporate function and we've done for the halal people only. And then the next time around, they approach us and say, but please, you know what? We've had your food. It's so much nicer. Is it fine if you do for even the non-halal people? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. As long as they don't mind eating non-halal. I mean, halal, sorry.
So we've got a question here from photography by Yasira. She's asking, what is this competition? So Yasira, this is Chalo Let's Cook. You need to go onto the Instagram page. It's going to be the first ever halal competition of this magnitude that will be obviously showcased on various different platforms. It's hosted by Chalo Kavat, Tasneem Jadwat, and it's going to be hosted by Favio. So definitely check that out. Thank you so much, Jafar, for your time. We look forward to seeing you in the competition, and all the best with the future, inshallah.
Jazakallah so much. And like I say, all the people, please, you guys can start signing up. Our competition is open to anybody, not only professional chefs, to anybody that has any sort of culinary bone in their body. Please sign up and come show us what you can do. Jazakallah.
Yes.
Salaam
Wa barakatuh.